Decoding rental homes. We're going to tell you what's luxury versus essential in your property moving into your next place this year. Good morning.
Good morning, Billy. How are you?
Really good. How are you?
Good. It's like having the dream team back in effect.
The dream team is back in business. For anyone that doesn't know, I am Cleo's protege.
No, not at all.
Cleo was the one that trained me up from the ground, and we're going to talk about what's luxe versus essential these days in a rental property, because I feel like expectations have moved, rents have moved, and as you can see behind me, I'm sitting in Buckingham Palace this morning.
Yes, totally. All our properties look like that, Billy.
Yeah. But tell us, Cleo, like, do you feel that expectations have changed in rental properties now?
For sure. Just as easily as owners would like, an increase in their rent, they also need to add a little bit of value into the rental property if they're looking for that $100, $200 a week more in rent. And we see a lot of applications that come in for our available properties with tenants asking, is the owner going to do this? Is it going to be freshly painted? And that, for example, would be considered, it's not an essential thing for an owner to paint something straight away, but to have it freshly painted, for a new tenant. But if you're looking at $900 a week for a 2-bedroom, you want the paint to be in good condition, for example.
Yeah, I guess there's just a level of maintaining the property, like most landlords want, like maybe if they lived in the property themselves. So as you say, it's not an essential, but it's definitely it is a nice feeling to walk in and have it smelling, new, and new floors, and every 5 or 3 years, whatever, do a bit of an update as the wear and tear does, it does wear off.
Yeah, especially tenants, properties that are being tenanted for 5 or 10 years. They've had tenant after tenant. Certain things that is considered essential these days. I don't know. We've talked about this. Is a dishwasher. Dishwasher is now considered an essential part of a property.
Wow. And so what happens if you don't have a dishwasher? Is there going to be legislation where you've got to include one?
No, it hasn't got to that point yet. There's still some people out there washing their dishes with their hands, But it is.
I won't be able to provide one of those. I might have to hire a butler to stay in the rental property.
Totally. And when they go on the brink during a tenancy, it's considered like an emergency. We get tenants going, my dishwasher's broken. I've got 5 children. Like, what? I can't cope. I need the dishwasher. So it is sort of considered essential these days. And when your property's on the market for rent and there's clearly a space and there's not one there, tenants, it can be a deal breaker for a lot of tenants. You have to have a dishwasher now.
Well, I suppose you can't bring your own really in a rental property unless you're going to be there for a number of years, which you might not necessarily know from the beginning. There's an expectation that if there's space for one, there's a high chance that it's it's going to be in there. It's a high part of our lives now, key part. What about things like air conditioning?
Yeah, so aircon is also starting to get to that point as well, especially when you have really, hot summers and the property isn't double brick, which a lot of our new properties and, new developments, they're not. They can get really warm in the summer. So ducted aircon or a split system is something that most tenants would want, especially if they're paying that top dollar rent. And having one installed is not as easy as it sounds, because you've got to go through strata regulations. The executive committee have to approve the air conditioning system where it's going to be. The plans have to be provided to strata. So some buildings that don't have aircon or an originally built 60s or 70s building, some of them they're not able to have aircon because there are guidelines and rules on where the unit on the balcony can be, where the pipes and the plumbing has to go in. So yeah, another deal breaker.
And so do you find those landlords try and compensate for leaving a fan or putting ceiling fans in, or do they just take a bit of a hit on their rent and leave the rest up to the tenant?
Yeah, look, I do have a lot of properties at the moment where we have been installing fans, especially with that really hot summer day that we had a little while ago. So owners are adding value to their property by putting in a ceiling fan, provided it's not too low. And the other thing is children. Like if you've got a children's bedroom and the ceiling's not high enough, having a fan is actually, to the owner's detriment if something were to happen, so they don't put it in. But mostly they will accommodate and try and help the tenant out by having a ceiling fan. Tenants also do have those portable units. If they really like the property and they can't have one put in, they will go to Bingley and get a portable unit that can be put in the bedroom, for example.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, Luke. Happy New Year. Quick question there. Do landlords need to make it luxe in this tight rental market? Like, is there a pressure there still for quality, or do you feel like some landlords can, have been slacking but getting away with it because there's just no stock on the market?
Yeah, look, there's both those types of landlords out there that they know they don't have to put a lot of money in to get a tenant, like you said, as it's a low rental stock market. But having a good quality tenant and wanting that high end rent will go hand in hand with what the property looks like. So having it luxe is something that most of our clients are trying to provide right now. Simple paint, carpet, LED light fittings, that has a luxe feel without a lot of money being put in. You don't have to redo the bathroom and the kitchen completely. Adding some value in that sense quite cheaply will have that same effect. Lighting and having LED oysters put in the property does make it feel luxe, like it's bright, it's cost effective for the electricity bills and things like that, and tenants appreciate it. We don't have a lot of properties left with those old dangly chandeliers or the original oyster light fittings that you can't change the globe, so that's another thing that's quite luxy now.
Yeah, I think it just comes back to like cleanliness as well. It feels clean. Obviously you don't want to feel like your new home that you're going into this year is going to be something that's real tired and it's felt really used. So definitely not saying that it needs to be the Taj Mahal here, but I think something that just clean, feels like home, that's what's going to win the hearts. And I think ultimately that's what people are going to pay the best money for. People are spending more time at their home than ever before. Quite often now there's a home office, so they're also working from home a portion of the week. And so people have been prepared to pay more money given they're spending more time at home than pretty much ever before.
Definitely. And it's less maintenance as well when you start off a rental property with those things that have been freshened up or whatever. They do last quite a bit of time, and then you're not constantly updating the property whilst the tenant's in there as well. It's hard to take you seriously with that background, Billy. Honestly.
King Billy, please. King Billy.
Yes, King Sir Billy. The bidet is definitely an inclusion that I would like.
One other question. What about like internet? Can you provide good internet?
Oh, yeah. Look, NBN, we get that asked all the time. It's not a luxury. That's a necessity these days, having internet.
Yeah.
If you can't connect to the internet in your rental property, that's a big issue for the owner. Applicants and tenants do research a property. They want to have their telcos connected. They want to have everything ready before they move in. And we have lost tenants if the property isn't, able to have a certain connection. So that is a necessity. It's not a luxury. That is something the owner needs to make sure that the property is compliant or, you know, is able to provide some kind of internet service?
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
question.
Yeah, there you go. So I think that's pretty much probably the ones that you can't see. They're the behind the scenes that the tenants are asking for these days. I guess going into a new year, if you're a tenant, understanding what's standard and what's luxury is you know, is important. And as a landlord, if you can try and just add a luxury, you know, box to be ticked maybe once every couple of years, it keeps your property in line with some of the new ones coming in, and you make sure that you get the best return.
Very, very good tip. And you know, we all want our properties to be luxy, especially if we're paying top dollar, for sure.
Yeah, everyone loves a bit of luxe. I'm a luxe lover.
Totally.
That's the show. Thanks, Cleo.
Thanks, Billy. See you soon.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye, everyone.